Resuming debate, the Honourable Parliamentary Secretary to the Minister of Justice and Attorney General of Canada.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. And at the outset, let me acknowledge that I'm speaking to you from the traditional lands of the Algonquin and Anishinaabe people. And let me, as this is my first opportunity to speak since the passing of the Honourable Jim Carr, express my deepest condolences to the Carr family and my appreciation to them for sharing Jim with us, both in Parliament as well as in Canada, and the remarkable legacy that he leaves in being who he was, such an honorable gentleman who crossed party lines and in many ways reached out across the aisle. And I'm so heartened to see so many very positive comments coming from everyone, from all parties. And I do want to express particularly my condolences to Ben Carr, who many in this House may know as someone who was very much part of our government at the beginning stages, and he moved on to Winnipeg and to serve his community locally. I think as we close the year, Madam Speaker, Jim's passing, I think, should give us, I think, some guidance in terms of how we should work with each other and work towards strengthening this institution, but also working across the aisle to make things happen for Canadians. And as you know, one of the last things that Jim did was the passage of his Western Canada Greening Bill, which received unanimous support. And I think today we're in a very similar moment here where Bill C-291, an act to amend the criminal code and make consequential amendments to other acts, child sexual abuse and exploitation material from the member, brought forward by the member from North Okanagan, Shuswap, I think provides that opportunity. And I will note that during this process, we've worked very well together, collaboratively between him and his colleague from Kamloops in terms of getting this bill through both Parliament as well as the committee stage at Justice and Human Rights. So I want to thank both this member as well as his colleague and all members who are part of the Justice Committee for working on this bill expeditiously and getting us to this point. Madam Speaker, we must take measures to fight child sexual exploitation. We have comprehensive and robust criminal laws against it. We need to have strong and effective law enforcement, and we need to continue to advance and facilitate measures that seek to support victims. I would like to take this time to highlight the vital work done by the child advocacy centers, child and youth advocacy centers across this country. These centers provide a coordinated, multidisciplinary approach in a safe, comfortable environment to address the needs of children and youth and their families, children and youth who are victims or witnesses of crime in Canada deserve protection and justice. Online child sexual exploitation is some of the most disturbing conduct facing society today. The pandemic has contributed to a rise in sexual offenses committed against children, including their facilitation through technological means. In the fiscal year 2021-22, the RCMP's National Child Exploitation Crime Center received 81,799 complaints, reports, and requests for assistance relating to online child sexual exploitation, which was a 56% increase compared to the previous fiscal year. For example, in 2020-2021, with only 52,306 reports received, and an 854% increase compared to 2013-2014, which had 8,578 reports received based on the internal numbers provided by the NCECC. cybertips.ca, run by the Canadian Centre for Child Protection, reported a 120% increase in reports of children being victimized online in comparison to pandemic rates. Statistics Canada 2020 police reported crime data, which includes the first year of the pandemic, has indicated that incidents of making or distributing child pornography have increased by 26% in 2021 compared to 2019, and by 58% over the 5-year period 2017 to 2021. Possession of or accessing child pornography increased by 44% in 2021 compared to 2019 and represents a 146% increase since 2017. Luring a child via computer incidents have gone up 23% compared to 2019, a 48% increase from the previous 5 years. This bill changes the term child pornography to child sexual abuse and exploitation material. This new term captures the full scope of Canada's law, as well as jurisprudence available from the last 30 years. The Government of Canada, therefore, is committed to preventing and protecting children from sexual abuse and exploitation of any kind, including international. Canada works closely with international partners to combat online child sexual exploitation. This includes not only the exchange of information regarding new and emerging threats, but also the sharing of best practices and lessons learned in combating this crime. Canada is a state party to a number of international agreements to protect children from sexual exploitation, including the United Nations Declaration on Human Rights, the United Nations Conventions on the Rights of the Child, the Optional Protocol on the Convention on the Rights of the Child, on the sale of children, child prostitution and child pornography, and the Convention on Cybercrime, or what's called the Budapest Convention. The sexual exploitation and abuse of children has devastating and long-lasting consequences on victims. We remain committed to taking meaningful action to combat child sexual exploitation and abuse materials. Canada's existing criminal laws against child sexual exploitation and abuse materials are among the most comprehensive in the world. The Criminal Code prohibits all forms of child sexual exploitation and abuse materials, including against possessing, accessing, making, or distributing it, which can be punishable with a term of imprisonment of up to 14 years for each offense. So, Madam Speaker, serious crimes deserve serious consequences. I, along with my fellow members, look forward to watching these important bills progress in the other place. As a community, we all have a role to protecting children. Thank you, Madam Speaker, for this opportunity, and I want to thank once again members opposite for bringing this forward. Thank you.